Okay, hi guys. So here we are in Minnesota, 2021, and this is what it looks like outside. Snow covering the ground, snow covering the lake, snow in the trees. So I wanted to do a video about building some snow skis for RC airplane. Okay, so the metal I'm using to make these skis is roof flashing for valleys, and you can get this at Menards or any big box home store. This is 27 gauge aluminum, and comes in a roll, and this happens to be 8 inches by whatever the length of the roll is. So I'm going to cut two 4-inch wide sections to make my skis from, and I'm going to cut them to, this is a pretty big airplane. You can make them smaller for smaller airplanes, but I'm going to start with 27 inches by, two pieces 27 inches by 4 inches wide. And the metal thickness, 27 gauge aluminum, that's about 14 thousandths thick, or if you're using the metric system, it's 0.361 millimeters. Alright, so I drew it out on here already. Two pieces 4 inches by 20 or by 17, and so then I'll just use this mechanical tin snips and cut these out. Now I have some ways to stiffen the skis up, and one thing I do is I bend the edges of the skis, and that gives it something to stiffen it, to give it some strength. And the tool I'm using here is a tool that's designed for bending the lips on sheet metal, like for ducting, for home heating ducting. And you can, I think I picked this one up at Menards, and they're not that expensive. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it's just got a slot where you put the sheet metal in. It has these diamonds so that you can tell that it's all the way in, and then you use that to bend the edge of the metal. Or if you know, some of you guys may have a metal brake, that works really good. I think most people don't own a metal brake, so this is an alternative to a metal brake. There's, you know, other methods you could use. If you don't want to buy this tool, you could use a couple pieces of oak trim with some 1/4 bolts holding the two together, with washers where the bolts are that space it out. Gives you a little gap. The only issue with that is you have to, it's a little tougher to get it this straight this way unless you bump up against the washers. If you have that spacing correct, then that would work. Anyway, I'm going to use this tool, and so it goes, the aluminum slides in. You can see the edge of the aluminum in these little diamond cutouts. I'm going to slide it all the way to the back of one side, and these are the main skis. My plane has you know, main wheels and tail wheels, so I'm just building skis for the main wheels. If you have tricycle landing gear, then you may want to build a ski for that the front wheel, the tricycle wheel. And what I've done in the past is I've bent the edges up for the main skis and bend the edges down for the steerable ski, because you kind of want something that can bite a little bit into the snow to help steer the airplane. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bend these up. And so you can see already that how much that stiffened that aluminum up. You can still use thin, 27 gauge aluminum and still have it strong enough to hold using this by bending the edges of it up. So now I'll bend the other edge. So there we've got, quite a bit stiffer already. And then I put a spine in here where the landing gear can attach to, and then also I wax the bottom of the skis so it doesn't stick to the snow, and I'll be showing you those steps in a little bit here. Okay, so I made some of these spines for the skis, and they're made out of these are made out of 3/4 cedar, but you could use pine, or you could even use the those plastic composite maintenance-free woods that are pre-finished in white. But I just cut an angle off the back and then cut a curve on the front, and it's not real critical. Just use your best judgment on, how the ski looks. And then I did drill a bunch of 1/2-inch holes, or you could drill any size holes you want, but just to lighten them up a little bit. If you're making these for a foam plane, then you might want to go smaller and try and keep the weight as light as possible. These skis happen to be for a pretty large airplane, 70 some inch wingspan plane. So anyway, it's wood, and then it's just painted with black paint. So what I'm gonna do next, I did mark off the edges in the front and cut those 2 edges off, and now I'm just gonna flip it over to the bottom and mark out a center line on the bottom so that I can attach the ski for the spine. I'll have to drill some holes in the ski. So just sure I'm centered on the spine. So I'm going to countersink this hole into the wood. So I've got some flathead screws. They're number 4 by 3/4 flathead Phillips. I'm going to use those to attach. I've already got the countersink on the spine drilled. I'm going to drill the hole in the aluminum a little bit bigger for the screw to fit through. Screw started in here. Okay, so now I want to drill a hole for this front. Just bend this part up, and then drill a hole in the front for the front screw. Put a screw in the front. Okay, now we can just cut that front part of the ski rounded off. And there we have it. We have one ski made. Okay guys, so what I want to do is put in the Antitip mechanism for the ski. So what you do is you take a piece of music wire, and I don't know if you can see that. Take a screwdriver or something and bend it 1 1/4 loops around, and then bend a right angle on the end, and then we're gonna mount the ski to the landing gear. We're just gonna press it, make a dent so we know where to drill a hole, and then we'll just drill a hole into the wood. And then we'll press that end into that hole. It's pressed into there. Move this down, and then if you have whether you have aluminum landing gear or whether you have a like 1/8" piano wire landing gear, either way you can stick the gear through, and in this case we want the spring mechanism on the inside, and then the end that's left you just either tie to that, use a couple of cable ties to attach it to the landing gear, or you can if it's aluminum you can drill a hole and do the similar thing where you bend the wire through a hole. But what that does is it keeps the ski level then when you're flying, because if it tips up it creates a lot of drag, and you don't want that while you're flying. So that's the purpose of this. Plus it still has some spring action for the angle that the plane's landing and that kind of stuff. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is I want to show you how you wax the bottom of the ski. So just take a heat gun and heat up the metal, get it good and hot, and then take some wax or candle, or in this case I'm just going to use a crayon, and as you heat that up you can just basically run some wax on the ski, and this way the snow won't stick to the metal when you're trying to run on the snow. So there we go. We got the bottom of the ski wax, so ready to mount them to the plane and go flying. Alright, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Thanks guys.